Okay, are you able with the table? We're going to talk about the exponential function and what it looks like. And it looks like this. F of x equals a times b to the x, where a and b are constants. So what's a constant?
They don't change.
They stay the same. What are they? A letter, a number? It's a number. Okay, a constant is a number.
Well, then why are those letters?
Because we don't know what number it is.
It
It can be any number, okay, according to the function. All right, but a will be a number and b will be a number. Okay, that's what they're saying. A is not going to be like something like 2x. It'll be just a number like 2. Okay. All right. Now, and it says, what effect do A and B have in the tables representing the functions below? So we're going to see what the A does and what the B does. So the A in this case, in number 1, is what?
3.
And the B is 2. And then we're going to put this in y equals.
Y equals is your friend.
It is your friend, your best friend. So 3 times 2 rooftop x. Just like that.
So it need to be in parentheses.
It doesn't have to be unless it's more complicated than this. Okay.
There's nothing in my table.
Nothing in your table. Okay, go to table set, second window. You might be on auto, ask or something.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, put them both on auto.
Mine was on ask and all my numbers just came up.
Okay, so we're going to write those in. 0, 3, 1, 6, 2, 12, 3, 24, 4, 48.
They're still not.
They're not.
Something is wrong.
Okay, go back to y equals and clear it and re-put it in. 3 times 2 to the x.
Oh, yeah, that did it.
It did? Okay. Sometimes you got to start over when it's auto and ask. Okay. What is happening? Well, first of all, the x is going up by how much?
1.
The y is doing what?
It's doubling.
Doubling. It's multiplying by 2. Okay? So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 24 times 2 is 48. 12 times 2 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48. Okay? So what do you notice about the ratio? It's the same thing as the what?
B.
The b. Okay? What about a equals 3? Do you see that anywhere?
It starts at 3.
Looks like it, okay, it starts at 3. So let's see if that has the same pattern as this one over here. Okay? They switched the 2 and the 3. So the A is 2 this time and the B is 3.
Oh, what do you know?
Oh,
It was graphing.
Stop it, Captain.
Okay, so what are you multiplying y by this time?
3.
2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 times 3 is 54. 54 times 3 is 162. So what is the
And
B?
it started at 2.
The B is 3, and it starts at 2, doesn't
It
it?
starts at A and multiplies by B.
Right. It starts at A when x is what?
0.
0. Okay. Now you still have this one in your calculator? Let's graph it. Do zoom 6.
I already got that.
Okay, and look at where it is crossing the y-axis. Where is it crossing the y-axis? At 2. At 0, 2, right? 0, 2 right here.
Why don't we ask?
So what is the A? It's the y-intercept. It's where it starts when x is 0, and it's the y-intercept.
Okay. Is this the thing I just took a test over? Like Friday? I
Right,
made up
in
a
here?
test, yeah?
No.
That's not what this is?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
No, that was what was that? Rational?
That was.
Yeah.
There were fractions.
Yeah. It was that 1 over x.
Okay.
Y was 1 over x. Anyway.
Where are those graded?
Okay, let's look at the next one. Yeah, we should be in Skyward. Okay. Y equals 6 to the x.
Sorry.
So what is A in this one? This is a little trickier.
1.
How'd you get that?
Because
Because
it's implied.
It's abs.
Because if you just
Okay.
multiply 1 by
I
that.
just know.
Well, 1 by that, you still get that. Don't you?
No.
So it's not 0, is it?
No, No, because
Yes.
that would make it 0.
That would make it 0. 0 times 60x would be 0. What is b?
6.
6. Okay, so what do you think the ratio is going to be?
6.
And what do you think it's going to start at?
1.
1.
There's 1, 8, 6, 36, 2, 6. 1296.
Okay, now looking at number 4, how is it different?
It doesn't have a plus.
It's, no, it's halving.
It doesn't have a multiply.
It's what is it? What's the b?
It's a fraction.
Yeah.
It's a decimal.
A decimal or a fraction, isn't it? Okay, let's see what happens when it's that. A is 8, b is 0.5. You can enter it in just like it is, if you want to. It's getting what? I heard people say? Smaller. It's halving every time, isn't it? Okay, y'all haven't studied half-life yet, have you?
No.
You will, I
What?
think. Half-life? Half-life, yes, like
It's
Or-
the radioactive stuff.
radioactive substances have half-lives. In other words, they decay very slowly, and so you always want to find out when is a radioactive substance half of what it was. That's called its half-life. How long does it take to get to half of what it was? And these equations model those. Okay? This is where you're halving everything. Now, these over here where it's growing, this is like investing money in the bank or somewhere and letting your money grow with interest. Okay? That's what these model when it grows. When it decays, it's another kind of decay, which this is half-life because it's going down by half every time.
Is this exponential?
But, it is. But and this one down here is not half-life. It is going to go down because you're multiplying by decimal, but it's not going down by half every time, is it? Okay. This is called depreciation. This is like when you buy a car, okay, and it's worth a certain amount when you buy it, and as soon as you drive it off the lot, it depreciates. That's what people say. It loses its value, okay? And you can figure out how much a car is worth in 2 years, 3 years with this kind of an equation. Okay? So we're going to learn all those after we kind of figure this stuff out. But okay, number 5, what is A?
100.
And B is
0.5.
0.5. So let's just write the table without looking at the graph. What would you start out with?
100.
25.
25.
12.5. 6.2.
There you go. And it's multiplying by 0.5, or you could even say 1/2. This one's a little harder. What does it start with?
200.
Okay, your A is 200 and your B is? Okay, how would we find the next one without the table?
Divide, multiply by 1/8.
Multiply by 0.8. 200 times 0.8. Okay.
And then just
It's only worth 0.8 of what it was. Okay. Another way to think about that is 0.8 is equal to what percent?
80.
80%. It's only worth 80% of what it originally was. And then you multiply by 0.8 again, don't you? And it's 128. 102.4.
No, just kidding.
81.92.
Why not?
Okay, so it started out at 200, and after 4 times, it is at 81.92. 81.92. Okay, let's go over here. It says, where does the A value show up in the table?
Y value and X.
The x-intercept.
Okay, x-intercept, and it's,
No, it's the y-intercept.
yes, thank you. It's the y-intercept, and it's when,
The graph starts.
well, it's not actually when the graph starts, but it's
When the
when
x turns positive.
when x equals 0. And when you're dealing with real life situations, that's where we always start, where x is positive. And x usually represents time in this case. And so you don't really have a negative time. Okay. What effect does the b value have?
The ratio.
The rate of change.
I wouldn't say rate of change because that's more like a linear.
And
You're adding or subtracting the same thing every time. When you're multiplying by the same thing every time, we're just going to, it's a ratio. Okay, and we're going to say the B is what you multiply the Y value by. Okay, and we're going to kind of basically say the same thing on the back of this. Okay. For the functions in the form f of x equals a times b to the x, a is the initial amount when x equals 0, or the y-intercept. You could also say it's the starting point, starting amount. Okay, B is the same thing as before, the ratio, what you multiply y by. Okay, on 1 through 3, on those tables 1 through 3, y increased, like here. And then on 4, 5, and 6, y decreased. What do you notice about B?
It's greater than 1.
Okay, it's greater than 1, it does what?
Increases.
Increases. If it's
Less
less than 1 or between 0 and 1, it decreases. Okay. So y values increase when B is greater than 1, and y values decrease when B is between 0 and 1. And then we're going to talk about what happens if B is negative and what happens if B is 1. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay. When do we get out of here?
27.
Okay.
I thought it was 31. That was our class.
And my clock is wrong too.
That's us being honest.
It's supposed to be 11. Okay, let's real quick just look at these tables. We're going to find, they're going to give us the table, we're going to find the equation. Okay, what is A, first of all?
5.
Good. It's when x is 0. Now, how do you find B?
You have to find out what it's going up by.
Okay, so it's multiplying by what? 4. Good. So B is 4, so the equation will be 5 parentheses 4 to the x. Okay, what about 8? What does it start with?
2.
And that is your what?
8.
And what is it multiplying by?
9.
9. This is 2 parentheses 9 to the x. Now it gets a little harder in number 9 because you can't necessarily tell what you're multiplying by. But,
Is it 3/4?
okay, how did you get that?
You divide
I
24 by
divided
16.
24 to 16.
Good. Divide 24 by 16. 24 divided by 16. In other words, you kind of go backwards and you get 1.5. If you need to, double check it. Do 16 times 1.5 and make sure it's right. And then 24 times 1.5. Okay, so it's working. Get 36. So y equals 16 parentheses 1.5 to the x. Did y'all figure out the last one? Is it 0.4?
Yes.
200 divided by 500? Okay. So, A is what?
500.
Okay. And we probably don't have time to see what happens when B is 1 and when B is negative. So we'll do that tomorrow. Okay?